Alright, hello. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be my third video on like a replay analysis slash coaching simulation for Reverse Heaven. This game actually is a win from there, so let's see how this game goes. And again, I could already tell in the last two games, they straight up lose the early game in the pre-game, if not like the first 2 minutes of the game. This is because of how that things played out. Like, the way they draft, if they're going to draft like that, they can't afford to play the early game like that at all. Otherwise, they just straight up lose, which is what happened. And we'll see what happens this game. So they start off with Puck AA. I think AA is a good pick, especially with how it seems like they want to play. They picked it in the first game. Looking at the bands here, Night Stalker Nyx, okay. Void banned out. Makes sense to go with AA as well as the Darks here. So they're potentially predicting a Puck mid. Reverse Heaven ban out the Sun, Legion, Omni, and the Earthshaker, and they picked themselves up an Earth Spirit. I think Earth Spirit, pretty strong support combination. In the NA, they pick AA Sand King, and I think Earth Spirit can fulfill like a similar role to Sand King and do what he does, but if not even a little bit better, as he has more of initiation range, especially at level 1. Silencer picked up, Necrolite picked up, so Genesis already picking some hard heroes to deal with. And again, it seems like Reverse Heaven really favor the late game, which what they're trying to play towards. So I expect some late game heroes coming in their draft. Puck can go mid and off lane, of course. I think Puck is one of the best heroes right now. I mean, of course, he's really mobile, has really long catch range, which is pretty good. Can move from lane to lane very fast, is good in a lot of laning stage matchups, and then can wave clear really well, which is super important. So I like that Puck pickup a lot. I like to see it picked up more often. Of course, like Puck has a lot of counters, but he can just be sent in a offlane position, and then that makes up for a lot of it. So he's being picked up a lot in the Chinese scene right now, and he's getting ignored. But I think he's one of the strongest heroes in the game right now, and I think he shouldn't be ignored too much. I like that pickup. I don't know why I'm watching this at 1x speed. Let's speed up through it. I mentioned Sand King, and Genesis gonna pick them up themselves. Silencer, Sand King, that's also a support too. I've seen a lot from the NA region. In teams like DC, and what else was it? I think Team Freedom. But or what they know as VGJ Storm now. Bat Rider as the 4th pick here. Again, setting them up a pretty strong laning stage and a good way to play throughout the mid game. They could always go for the Lasso Silencer initiation, and these heroes just died. Like Puck will need to go for a Lincoln's. Spectre is actually, honestly, he's not the pick here. Necrolite's fairly good against the Spectre, and with Bat Rider as well. Spectre can die, but they do win this game, so let's see how they end up playing. Quap will be picked up as the mid matchup. Again, I don't know about the Quap here. Necrolite looks like he will be mid. I think Quap is not bad against the Necrolite mid. Can win that matchup, especially with the help from the Earth Spirit early on. And I was speeding through too fast, and I'm also a bit thirsty here. My mouth is dry, so excuse my voice. But Earth Spirit comes out. He tries to get a roll on there. He gets the ward down. I think the ward was spotted, and he might die here. Yeah. Alright, well, what actually happened here? Alright, so he's smoked out. Blocks their big camp. Comes out over here. Wants to place a ward mid. Runs into the Silencer. Then he dies. Then he loses 2 int. That is unfortunate. Again, there's ways around this, but I think this is just bad timing. Because Sand King happened to be in the area as well for some reason with anti-mage there. And he loses 2 intelligence there. That's unfortunate. And again, they will not favor protecting their safe lane at all. Batrider gets a ward off. Like easily, they could have camped a bunch of heroes up here and then gave Spectre a really hard time. It's just Genesis didn't choose to do that, and as a result, Spectre can be fine. But what happened in the last 2 games can easily have happened in this game. It's just that Genesis didn't capitalize on it, unlike the last 2 teams. So they're going to be fine this time around, but as you saw the last 2 times around, they were not. So I think like it's not that important that their Shaker Earth Spirit did this. Not only did he feed First Blood, but he also could have just secured the safe lane, because Spectre's game is really important, because if Spectre doesn't have a good time, she's actually countered by a lot of these enemy heroes, and like almost all of them. So just from looking at like the game, I think Spectre like owns this game, but I wouldn't say that's more so on their good play, but more on Genesis messing up most likely at some point really badly. So, alright. I do like how they start 3 here. It will zone the bat entirely. They're going to go for the kill. It should be a kill. Earth Spirit doesn't get the body block off. Doesn't matter. A still gets the last hit. It's good. So, like, they know how to play the safe lane here, but it's just what they do before. Like, they know, like, that they can get the kill there on bat. They attempt for it, they get the kill, but it's just what they do before in terms of setting up their lane. Like easily bat could have had someone with him here, and then that kill wouldn't have been so easy. Like they barely got that kill, and like say Sand King was up there, things would have not been the same. Sand King probably should have been up there, but he is not. So they don't need 2 heroes to zone this puck. Like just pausing the game here, right? Anti-mage, very good against puck. Anti-mage, very good against the Queen of Pain. Anti-mage, very good against the Spectre. Not very good, but he's pretty good against Spectre. So, well, actually, he's not the best. All right. He is the Anti-mage versus Spectre matchup is a bit weird because he farms up really fast. Spectre is slow. To come on, or she's a weird hero. She can play aggressively with her team if they have a good advantage. But the thing is, like, the enemy heroes or the other heroes on his team aren't that good against AM unless they somehow have really good or big advantage as well. So I don't know how things will actually play out, but like it can go either way. Like Spectre can be pretty good against AM, or AM can just be very good against Spectre if Spectre has a slow start, and or maybe Spectre could have a decent start and then her team has a bad start and it can't pressure AM. So AM will just farm. Spectre doesn't farm as fast as AM, and then AM will just take over the game and then win it. But I'm assuming what happens in this game is Spectre has a really good lane, and then Queen of Pain has a more or less decent lane. Somehow Puck gets a good lane, and then AM gets ganked a bunch of times, or they take fights that they shouldn't really, and Spectre just ends up being unstoppable, gets super farm, and then the game somehow ends. I don't know. I know they win though. So from the start, this top lane is looking pretty good with how they decided to lane things and with their hero pickups as well. If you can tell, like they picked the AA and then the puck first. I think that was a really good opener. It was not bad. It didn't open up too many holes. And at this point, they're going to be able to win this lane for the Spectre, and Bat is not going to get much, so we'll continue watching. They also got a really good pull off here. They're going to protect it as well to make sure that he can't contest, even though he's still level 1, so he doesn't have much of a chance of contesting anyway. And Puck is just hiding in the trees. Like, he can't really get much out of this lane. And that's why I say, like, the Sand King doesn't really need to be here. And they didn't actually block this camp, which is interesting. I'm not sure if he misclicked or if he intended not to block it. I don't know why he wouldn't. Earth Spirit can go pick up 2 bounty runes now. As for the mid matchup, Queen of Pain should do fine against Necro early levels. And he is.
I'll take your tribute.
And we're going to speed up things a little bit now. So we're going to expect AM to be free farm. and he should be. And we're gonna expect Spectre to also be free farm. So we're trading free farm Spectre for free farm AM. Who does that actually favor? I'm pretty sure it favors the AM, unless the Spectre's team is doing good as well. Because like even if Spectre has absolute free farm, AM propels his farm into more farming, where Spectre propels her farm into either going for like the late game Radiance, she will never have before AM gets his Bounty Fairy. So her farm item comes on later, and if she goes for like an aggressive build, if she doesn't have a team to play around, like she's not going to kill AM, of course. So that's how things will just play out. And Silencer AM completely destroys the Puck in lane. Like this is like the silence just destroys Puck. She can't do anything. I'm surprised he's not actually maxing the Lox Sword. That's what I would do against a Puck. And what happened to Necrolite here? Oh yeah, so Queen of Pain with rotations, we'll be able to kill Necro. It was mostly there on the Earth Spirit. Nice play for him there. Solid rotation, big kill there, and there's something that I could predict is the Queen of Pain getting a pretty decent start against the Necrolite, which is happening. It is happening. And now, like, they don't really need the Earth Spirit top anymore. I think Spectre and AA, like, maybe not kill bad, but they can zone him by themselves. They don't want to stack up this camp too much though. It's already kind of overstacked, as Spectre can't farm this at all. Unless she like maxes out Dispersion and goes for like a Vanguard or something to tank it. She actually can take stacks like that. They're going to continue to play aggressive onto the Necrolite. I think this is just Sand King not being there. Like he wants to pick up bounties and things like this, but at this point, with this much advantage on the Queen of Pain, like that kill was huge. I think Queen of Pain was already winning lane at that point, so they got a huge kill there onto the Necrolite, and then, or she was already winning, they got a huge kill, and then they get another kill. And this is looking like similar to the position that Reverse Heaven was in the last two games, where their mid just got completely destroyed. Like when your mid TP's back in and dies again, that's when they're completely removed from the game. It's a huge problem. AA continuing to pull this. The support's looking to play together now. I don't know about this. Spectre is not that easy to kill. They might be able to get her stealth here though. They will. Will they? Alright, they will. It's not bad actually. AM actually can just solo against the Puck. Doesn't care too much. Puck's not going to be able to contest the lane at all. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. The Silencer doesn't need to be bottom anymore. So got a kill there onto Spectre. That's really good because now AM is still farming. And he should be top net worth now, yeah. Silencer will move back bottom. They can pressure the tower, I guess. No, the catapult has already died. Earth Spirit has Tranquils. He has made good rotations. Got a bunch of kills onto Necrolite, and now Necrolite is someone removing the game. But this hero actually is fairly good at coming back, and I don't know why he doesn't have a magic wand. I don't know what's going on here. Don't know about this item build. No boots. I don't think the second null talisman does anything for him. He ends up warding for himself here. Top lane, the Bat Rider still can't be here. He got greedy trying to contest the stack, and because they had the Earth Spirit here, they can go for the kill. Notice if the Earth Spirit wasn't here, like Bat Rider would actually be able to get away with that, and Queen of Pain will just get a solo kill here. And it looks like at this point, Reverse Heaven is literally just out playing Genesis, which happens. Of course, Puck dies again, but nothing to say. Just looks like he completely outplayed the Necrolite. I don't like Necrolite's item build as well, and I mean, his game is not fun, and that's the main problem for Genesis. At this point, they have a really strong QoP, so that goes back to the scenario I was saying, where the Spectre is doing okay. He's pretty much received somewhat free farm, not absolute free farm, but then his teammate is doing really well on this QoP, even though Anti-Mage is fairly good against QoP with this type of advantage, with 8-minute Veil, will put so much pressure on the rest of his team that AM will have a hard time carrying this game, and we already see that. Quap making the moves with the Arcane Rune, gets himself another kill, and sure, AM can free farm, and he could be a good counter to a lot of these heroes, but he goes too far trying to pressure the tower, gets stream coiled, and then ends up dying to the Quap, and that's worst case scenario for him, dying to the most farmed hero on the side of Reverse Heaven. Now this Quap will just go insane, and this is going to enable the Spectre so much. He is going for the Mask of Madness build. He can transition to the jungle now, flash farm that, open up some space on his top lane for his AA to get his level 6, which he's not actually doing right now. He's just sitting mid. The gank attempt is coming in with the Sand King and the Silencer, but again, Spectre is fairly tanky. He's going to show back up to the top tower. He's still a bit scared because if you look at his vision, he doesn't see much. Doesn't know where the supports are. They're going to send the Quap and the supports to move in to clear out this area, and they find the Sand King. They don't get the stun of him, but they find the Silencer instead. It's level 6, but he'll still die, and Batrider TP's out in time, and Quap's going ham for this one. He wants the Sand King so bad. Just gets out. Quap is so far ahead that she actually lives, and it's going to end that. Necrolite is getting some space back to push in the mid tower, but T rotation comes in. AA is very good against Necrolite, and they get the kill there. Global Silence committed, doesn't do much at all. Queen of Pain's gonna come in. They also haunted in, so they're just getting kills all over the place now. And this is going to continue for the most of this mid game. As AM is just a farming hero, of course, right? So he's just going to farm up. He doesn't really want to be involved in a lot of these fights. The tempo needs to slow down for him to be able to thrive in this type of game, and I just don't see that happening. They have really mobile ganker heroes on their mid and off lane, the Puck as well as the Queen of Pain. Puck didn't have the greatest start, but you can see that he's having impact with just small amount of farm and experience advantage that he's claimed from all these kills so far. He's not even doing that bad in terms of net worth. And he uses his Dream Coil, gets his nukes off, and silence, and it's Gucci. They go for the kill there. A blast hits. They actually rotate the Spectre for this one. They won't get that kill this time around, but it's not that bad. I would say it's not the best either, because they lost their mid tower and their bottom tower at the same time. And this just shouldn't happen, but they're just a bit too slow to respond, and they also have to heal up and regen. They didn't have a shrine or anything, so that's unfortunate. So even with the big advantages they had, they still end up giving 2 towers away, which I think is a huge deal. And A ends up going down top now. The rotation coming from the supports, and now they're going to run down the lanes. They want to take as many towers as possible. And Genesis is making a comeback into this game, utilizing their 4 heroes. Again, these heroes are fairly strong in a group, so they're sticking as 4, while AM continues to split push and farm. And we jump in onto mid, but gets counter-initiated on by the Earth Spirit. But Sand King will come in. AM almost dies. They still lose the Earth Spirit, and Queen of Pain gets forced back. AM so low though that I don't know if that kill was even worth it. As I don't think he even got the kill. Yeah, he did not, and now he has to walk back to base, but he'll be able to shrine and far up now. Batrider has his Blink Dagger. I don't know why I got super loud there, but Batrider has his Blink Dagger. They can look for ganks with him. How Genesis will want to play the game from this point onward is just Batrider, ganks, and like Necrolite to follow it up. The problem is Reaper Scythe is a lot longer cooldown after the nerf. And I don't think Lasso will be enough to kill these heroes like Spectre, who is fairly tanky and even fast now. Very mobile with the Mask of Madness. And instead, they're going to look to go for ganks. Any hero that shows up alone, they run to the Necrolite with the Puck. Get the kill there with the Spectre. And she also jaunts mid. They're getting towers in return now. Again, losing this mid tower, losing this bottom tower was kind of a big deal, but since they were so far ahead in experience, like just look at the experience and the farm, like this is a pretty big advantage. Like Genesis getting those towers brought them back into it, but the problem is like the AM doesn't do anything, and Necrolite, since he's so far behind, he's kind of a burden as well. And they just have a lot more mobility on the side of Reverse Heaven, having the mobile, the global, I mean, Spectre Haunt, as well as these mobile heroes like the Quap and Puck. So they trade the towers. They lose the top tower, but they get bottom tower. Actually doesn't get denied. And they also take out the mid tower, so now they're opening up their map a lot more. Puck will go towards the blink dagger, I'm assuming. So they already have the veil. Queen of Pain literally can run around and be untouchable once she gets Lincolns. Global Silence though will hurt her, or Yules I mean. Yules or Lincolns. I don't know what she's gonna go. She's going for the aggressive build actually. Lincolns and Yules. She actually needs both. She isn't that untouchable. They have a lot of ways to deal with her actually. But he's just so far ahead and he's playing it well. Whereas the Sand King, he is too far from his blink. Alright. Puck will have his blink dagger soon. Queen of Pain will be able to pressure the lanes when she sees all these heroes reveal themselves. The only thing that she's really worried about is like the lasso into like an anti-major being there, or like the global silence coming out. And then once Sand King gets the blink dagger as well, she has more stuff to be worried about. But for now, he's fine. Doesn't have a death yet. Spectre is building into a Radiance. AM has his Battle Fury, and he's going to start flash farming. He's top of net worth, so this game is far from over for Reverse Heaven. They played the early game really well, but it's not a free win. It's not like what happened to them in the last 2 games, right? They still have to play this game out, and it's very even still, regardless of the big advantage they have. And say this game can easily be lost. So, problem is though, AM, I don't know what he's doing. He should just be farming. Is he actually? Like, I don't know. Like, I cannot explain this. Feels really strong for some reason. He's not. As you can see, shows up and gets one kill, but Spectre actually is super strong, even though she's a lot, or 1,000 net worth below, just with the Mask of Madness and sitting on 3,000 gold in his inventory. You see her damage output there. And they do have the disables for AM until he gets Manta style. There's a silence there, killing him. And Global Silence will be used. Will force Reverse Heaven to back. They trade 2 supports there for AM. That's a big death for AM. I mean, he's top of the net worth. He could have been accelerating his farm. Instead, he is spending his time dead. Bat Rider, I believe, got like a lasso off. That's why the A died, right? Or did the lasso happen? Oh yeah. And the Reaper Scythe for the A. I'm not so sure if both were worth it, because Reaper Scythe is a big cooldown, and they kind of want that to use on the Spectre. That's when the Global Silence was used. Earth Spirit in the meantime is just farming this bottom lane. I'm going to see how Reverse Heaven approach this mid game and how they close out. Of course, Roshan will be a very big deal for them. Looks like they're still getting solo kills. Again, their heroes are so far ahead at this point, the net worth graph doesn't really reflect it. But just because of their heroes' strengths and what they can do right now with items, they're just going to assert their dominance on the map. More so than Genesis can, because the way Genesis have to play the game is anti-mage farms up P-split push, creates pressure so that the Necrolite can farm up, and then Bat Rider, Silencer, and the Sand King can look for ganks on any heroes out of position. But again, the Queen of Pain is so far ahead at this point, she's hard to kill. Spectre's not that easy kill either, and Puck, of course, is slippery too. And you look at their map vision, they don't have much of it. So in terms of being able to make plays on the map, they don't really have that much of an option. Or you look at Dire, like they don't have that good map vision either. We'll place a board here now, but just because of like how the lanes are, where the position of the lanes are, they just have more abilities to make plays. And you can see they find a bunch of heroes here. They get all the kills. That's a triple kill for Spectre. He dies to the AM, but that's gonna be nope. AM lives. And that's actually not that bad, honestly, because AM survived and they lost the Queen of Pain and they lost the Spectre. I think the Queen of Pain even died to the Reaper Scythe. Now they're gonna lose an additional hero in the AA. So I would say that's not really worth it at all. They played a little bit too aggressive. Probably should have waited until Spectre got the Radiance. With the missed chance she might have lived there, or the extra levels even, by the time she got to that point. But AM now is kind of scary, has the Manta style, and they're not in a good position. They can still win the game, of course. Spectre late game is no joke, and Queen of Pain late game is no joke either, but now if Genesis play it properly, they can actually win off of this anti-mage after that engagement. So he got so much gold off of that, but now Spectre will have a Radiance, and they can look to go for another move here. You gotta be careful though of how they pick their fights. Went a little bit too deep on the tower there, didn't have the damage output to clean up the anti-mage. He cleaned up the fight, and is going for the Vanguard into an Abyssal, and once he has that, he's gonna be very strong. Of course, he'll be able to like solo kill like the Puck, and potentially even the Queen before she gets her Lincolns. You see that AM is not doing the best job of pressure at the lanes. I think he could be pushing harder, as his team is still in a position to get picked off because of how the lanes are in position. Like, this lane's all the way pushed in like this, and we just look at like how the Necrolite died here. He pushed out in the bottom lane here, and they don't have safety in their jungle as the invasion easily comes in with the smoke, and the Necrolite dies. They used the global silence. That was a full commitment for the Necrolite, so it turns out not to be that bad. I don't think they need to silence there. They thought that it might have helped them live or whatever, but now they can't be mid either. But Queen of Pain goes there. I don't know what that was. She felt confident, trying to go on the Batrider, ends up getting picked off. That's unfortunate. Puck comes in, cleans up the creep wave mid, and AM goes forward. Doesn't have his basher yet. Maybe if he had a basher, could have killed the Puck there with the lucky bash, but it doesn't really matter. They come over the Sand King's stun. They're losing heroes, and now he goes in onto the AA again. Say that Anthony is very strong right now, and he's gonna go in. Spectre doesn't end up dying to the Reaper Scythe, but she does die. That's a bunch of kills given away. That was just I would say it's a miscommunication. They just made the wrong call to even attempt to show up there. Like, if they get the Necrolite kill here, and they need to respect the AM. They didn't respect the AM. He TP'd onto Shrine, and he got the kill on the Queen. And once they lose the Queen, they can't show anyone else, because these heroes are very fast at getting additional pickoffs. With the lasso as well as the Sand King initiation, there's 2 blinks now, so heroes just can't show up. Otherwise, they're gonna run to a position where they die 1 by 1. They want to fight as 5. They want to avoid fighting at a numbers disadvantage as much as possible. And here they're gonna be able to fight as 5. Spectre Hunt comes in. You can see their strength there, and they're gonna clean up. Nice. Spectre super strong right now. Anti-mage has a Abyssal. Goes straight onto the Puck. And he wants to fight, but he can't find anyone else. The Spectre will get away into the trees, and she is out. And looking for the Quap. No bash, fortunately. And Quap should be able to get away. Should be. Yeah, that's too deep for him, and he's out. So AM is on a bit of a timer. He's incredibly strong right now, but he'll fall off eventually. Spectre and Quap will just continue to get stronger. Quap has Lincolns now, so she's not that afraid of the Bat as well as Sand King or Anti-Mage anymore. So she's a lot freer to do what she wants, to play a lot more aggressive. The problem is that they still need to figure out a way to get Roshan at some point somehow onto the Spectre. That would be their way to end the game, as they don't have a direct method to siege high ground, right? They'll still need to look for Genesis outside the base and take a fight there. Without the Aegis, they can't really reach high ground directly, and I think they might realize that now. No, they're still looking for gangs. They're running around. They can't afford to go straight into the Rush Pit, as Batrider and Sand King fairly good in that area, but instead they're gonna look for a fight. They're gonna find it. Silencer gets taken out, and Necrolite will get taken out again. Again, Necrolite has had a rough game for the entire game, and It's not changing now. Especially once the Spectre gets a defusal, which I'm surprised he didn't go for one yet. But just always be careful of the lasso. However, I don't know if that's the right time to lasso. They go in and buy back. Alright. AM wants to clean up this fight. They will get the Spectre with the Sand King buyback. Sand King actually gets the kill there. That's a bit of a mistake. Should have gave it to AM as he's gonna get less gold because of the buyback gold penalty. And let's see how things play out. This is a long replay, so I don't want to make this incredibly long. It's already 30 minutes. So, in my opinion of how this game has been played by Reverse Heaven, I think that they played the early game a lot better, but it was kind of Genesis giving it to them as well. They didn't put pressure on the safe lane, which is something that Reverse Heaven looks like they have a really hard time with. And in this game, Genesis only sent the Batrider up there alone, didn't put pressure onto the safe lane until much later on. They prioritized putting the Sand King bottom, which I think that he didn't need to be here. The Silencer and the Anti-Mage is going to win against the Puck regardless of whether he's in that lane. And he should have been playing around mid more, where the Necrolite ended up getting punished because he was getting ganked by the Earth Spirit, and then Sand King could have been even top, would have saved the barrier a couple times. Sand King just made the wrong decision to play in the wrong lane, and allowed Reverse Heaven to win the laning stage, and will allow them to play out their draft, which they're doing a decent job of. A couple of overcommitments here and there, and staying around for a little bit too long, chain feeding one by one, but for the most part their calls to go for ganks and the way they approach the ganks is really good. They've won every single team fight or smoke rotation they've made already. They go on the right targets, and I mean their heroes are fairly good at capitalizing on positional errors from Genesis as well. You have so many mobility heroes and global hero as well that provides global vision too. And you see there, they go for another smoke, they got a bunch of kills, they got a gem, which allows them to secure the map control. Sick play there, gets the silence onto the AM, he blinks away, but he still go down. That's a 5-man wipe. Really good smoke coming out from Reverse Heaven. It is all possible because of the advantages they've accrued in their draft. Really good draft for picking Genesis off out of position, starting a team fight. As for Genesis, they don't really have the best way to start a team fight. They're more reliant on getting a pick off here and there, and then fighting with a numbers advantage, and with AM being the center point or focus point of their team fight or their fights in general. And after that gank, it will allow Reverse Heaven to go for Roshan, which I think is their win condition. It's getting the Spectre, that Aegis, and having him just be super strong. He can go and really aggressively zone for the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain gets level 25, has the spell Lifesteal, is pretty much unkillable, and then you can just brute force up onto the high ground as AM will get weaker and weaker as the game progresses, and he's going for an Monkey King bar right now just to deal with the evasion from the Spectre. Radiance. Queen of Pain going for BKB. When she gets that, she is more or less untouchable. Puck is also going for the Lincolns. That's going to help him out a lot. And let's see what the Earth Spirit has Yule's Blink, pretty standard, and he is the gem holder. The Spectre does have the defusal now, and you can see her net worth is behind the AM, but she just feels so much stronger of a hero, and this is how the hero plays out. Just as a late game hero, she's so much stronger once she gets her core items up, and AM just needs to have that much more items to be able to keep up in his impact in this game. But you can already see it fading as he was really strong 5 to 10 minutes ago when he had Manta Abyssal, but this Monkey King bar doesn't feel like it adds too much to his strength anymore, and he's progressively getting weaker and weaker as they will go for another smoke gank play on Reverse Heaven. They get the kill there onto the two heroes. These heroes die pretty much every single time that Hunt comes out. There's really no counterplay for them. They don't have Force Staff, they don't have Glimmer or anything like that, so they just straight up die. And with the two heroes dead, they go in for the Rax, but AM traded the Rax. I don't know about that. So it actually will be a 1-for-1 Rax trade, even with the 2 kills that they got, because the Earth Spirit and Puck couldn't kill the Anti-Mage. Again, he's still very strong, don't underestimate him. He comes in there, gets 2 kills, gets the full Rax clean up. This is AM is the only relevant hero on Genesis anymore, and the problem is he can't solo carry this. as he will easily lose a man fight battle to Spectre and even Queen of Pain later on. She's going for Shiva's Guard. She has her BKB, and she does have the spell's lifesteal talent. And feels strong as the puck is still dead. Earth Spirit is still respawning, so they're going to push forward. But Spectre has Haunt soon and has her Aegis still. They try to attempt for a kill there onto AM. He blinks away, and at this point, I mean, these other heroes on AM's team just feel useless though. They have no farm and they can't really do much. So every time the Spectre comes out, and these heroes come out with the puck and the Queen of Pain, they're just gonna get picked off. And with 2 heroes dead, no buyback, Spectre is gonna go mid, no fear, because he still does have the Aegis. Lasta will come out, that's Aegis down, but they'll have to back. They don't back in time. AM gets caught, but he does have a BKB. This is a big pickup. It'll allow him to man up. He simply just can't man up against all these heroes with his teammates dead. Bat Rider has to buy back. The lanes are pushing in. They will get another set of racks here. Queen of Pain, mine is level 25. Spectre is level 25 as well. He is sitting on almost 3,000 HP, going for an abyssal of his own, and AM just simply can't solo carry this game. He needs, I mean, he needs other people on his team for sure. He's strong against these heroes, but like once you get the BKB out, they're a lot more survivable. Don't get affected by the mana burn, and Queen of Pain will be able to survive this. Lincoln's popped, and Mana Void doesn't finish off the kill, and we can speed up. At this point, they still can't straight up end the game. It's hard to just fight straight into Genesis. They need to wait for the next Roshan, and they will. Slow the game down, have Spectre get even more fat, get her next item up, which will be the Abyssal Blade, and then she can even disassemble the Mask of Madness into a butterfly later on, or I guess Satanic even, or just straight up sell it for another item like a heart. Because the AM does have the MKB already. Anti-Mage going for the Moon Shard, so he can increase his attack speed, but he is already maxed out. The rest of the heroes on his team aren't scaling at all. They're going to get further and further behind as they're having to farm super creeps now. He's going to be the only one who gets items, and again, I would say that he can't solo carry, so this is going to hurt him out a lot. The problem now is that the AM, even though he can, you know, take these fights, go on these single targets, but he never jumped straight into Reverse Heaven as a team. The result, they're going to lose the top racks, and the game's pretty much over at this point. They have 1 range racks left. I mean, they get some turn kills there, which could be big, and he got also the top racks here. And we're going to go for the push down mid, and loses his life, and should lose the game. Buyback does come out of Spectre. This is pretty risky, as if they somehow die, they actually can still lose this game. But they realize that Roshan is up, so they're going to buy back and go for that play. But the rest of Genesis realize this and they go for it themselves. They really don't want the AM to get the Aegis, but he is scared. As if he dies, that's game over. And he does get the Aegis for himself. He gets the kill there as well onto the Earth Spirit. And top racks slowly getting punched down by the puck. He doesn't get away, and it's puck dead for 100 seconds. Genesis can choose to run down mid. I'd like to see like a Blizzard Travel in the AM. He does have it already. Wolbot's the mid lane. He does have the Aegis as well. Necrolite, I don't know what he did there with his ultimate, but top racks get ratted. They're playing against Mega Creeps now. AM losing his life twice. That is game over. He does die. GG is called, and Reverse Heaven will take the game. So, from looking at the laning stage, they did a lot better, but a lot of it was on some errors on Genesis as well. They didn't lane ideally, and I think that Reverse Heaven, they executed their draft really well in terms of taking their team fight. Once they get that lead, once they get their advantage, once they get their core items up, like they weren't even that far ahead for most of this game. If you look at the graph, it was pretty much even as AM was keeping up in farm, but because they had the core items they needed on the heroes, like Quap had an 8-minute Veil, and the Spectre had a pretty decent timing on his Mask of Madness. Puck had Blink Dagger. They were able to go for the ganks. The Earth Spirit also had the early levels. They were able to go for the smoke plays. They were in the right positions to look for ganks. They overplayed like one gank there in the mid lane where AM cleaned up, which was pretty bad for them at the end of the day. They need to watch out for those. But for the most part, they have a solid understanding of how to play the game once they can get past that early laning stage. But the early laning stage is the hardest thing for a lot of these teams with the way they draft. It is the determining factor whether you actually even get to play the game against these better teams. A lot of times, like especially teams like Mineski, they do really funky things in the laning stage, and then you just straight up lose if you can't match up against them from that point onward. I know they pick a lot of pudge, they go for a lot of early game shenanigans, and if you're not securing the lanes that need to be secured, you're not winning the lanes that need to be won, you're not protecting the lanes that need to be protected, you can just straight up lose a game. You're not going to be able to execute your draft at all, as the enemy team will get so far ahead. A hero from your team will just be removed, like for example like what happened to this Necrolite, and then you're in no position to play the game from that point onward. It becomes a huge mess and is never a position you want to be put into. So it's gonna be it for this. It's my third replay analysis for Reverse Heaven. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.